Peter, how you doing?
Good morning, Jeff.
I wonder if you could talk a little bit about uh, Ashton Daniels, the Stanford quarterback, and those two young wide receivers he's got who can be pretty productive.
Yeah, those three, talk about a talented trio. Ashton Daniels, we know exactly what type of athlete he is, what kind of quarterback he is. I think he's continuing to get better. I think Troy's doing a good job of bringing him along. Big physical guy, hard to tackle, throws, has the ability to throw some really nice balls, can push the ball down the field, has that type of arm talent. And then I think everybody's very aware of Io Manor, a big physical player, goes up, is going to get physical when he goes up for the ball. So you have to be have enough size and some strength to be competitive in those situations, and they continue to find ways to get him the ball. And then the young kid Mosley, he's I think 3 touchdowns last week in a really great effort by their team to kind of dig out of where they were and show the ability to finish. So those two players, they have some different qualities, but having those guys on the outside part of the field with the throwing and running ability of Ashton Daniels, it's another great challenge, and I seem like I say that every week.
What's to say about them that they've struggled at times offensively? I think Daniels has been pulled from a couple of games, and yet they scored 38 points against Louisville.
I think it just goes to show the kind of the up and down nature of college football. I know they've played several quarterbacks this year. They've played some different running backs for some situations. Looks like there's some injuries and some production things. But every week there's different things going on, and I think in every young player's football life, sometimes the confidence is there. Sometimes maybe you're a little shaking your confidence, or you get some plays early in the game and you continue to build on that. I think with college football, you see inconsistent play. I think the really, really good teams have the capacity of more consistent performances. And then some of the other teams, it's you look great one week and the next week you don't recognize the product out there. And I think that's inconsistency of college football, and even sometimes it creeps up into the NFL.
Thank you.
Jim McGill, Bear Insider.
Hey, Peter. Looking back to the Syracuse game, that was probably the roughest half we've seen under a Wilcox-led team. Is there any sense of what happened in that first half that led to tackling that wasn't really up to the standard that you guys had set earlier this year? Or, on the offensive side of the ball, there were picks that we weren't seeing. What was happening in that first half? Was the energy level down?
I think probably goes back to what I said in that my response to that last question is just the inconsistency. First of all, I give a lot of credit to Syracuse. I thought they did a good job putting some formations, building some surfaces. We didn't do a good enough job of aligning to some of those surfaces early. The contested balls, Gadsden was extremely hard for us to win one-on-one against. Pena, we struggled with him in one-on-ones, and he found some space, and McCord threw the ball exceptionally well. But the short fields, we didn't do a good job of necessarily playing the short fields. We had a couple times that we ended up forcing some field goals, but I think 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, and the amount of plays that we played, we couldn't get off the field. Again, fourth downs were another issue that. This week we had some shorter fourth downs. We had a 4th and 1, I think a 4th and 2, and then a 3rd and 4 late in the game. I thought 2 of those 3, I thought we had fit up, but unfortunately we couldn't get the ball down where we made contact and it bled forward. So I think it's a combination of things. I think they did a nice job of presenting some different formational issues that I didn't do a good job of getting the guys corrected on the sidelines with the tablets. And then defensively, we've been very opportunistic with taking the ball away, and we didn't find an opportunity to do that. Teddy did get the ball out in the second drive. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough hats to the ball to be able to recover that one, because that would have been obviously a huge play early in that game that could have potentially kind of calmed the tidal wave of momentum that Syracuse was enjoying.
So looking forward, you guys were in a pretty good position going into the Syracuse game. They were a solid team, but beatable. You go coming off of 2 40-point plus scoring games. There was a margin of error, and the margin of error is significantly slimmer now. You've got a Stanford team that was down that all of a sudden beat a really good Louisville team, and maybe getting to a bowl game qualifying could be in question. How do you keep the guys focused and motivated and confident heading into these last two regular season games when you had sort of a blow to the momentum that just to the extreme in this last week?
Well, Jim, what I've learned in football is I don't turn to the last page of the book. I read the book and I let the story unfold as it goes. We talk to our guys about today. What's the improvement from what can we take from the last game, apply that to improving. And again, it's the effort and execution. And again, it sounds like coach speak, but today has enough troubles of its own. So we're focusing on today. We went out there and we focused on 3 different personnel groups. We did tackling. We did emphasis on taking the ball away. We all did different leverage type of tackle drills. The remedy is in the people. The remedy is in the preparation. And to say that we have lost, to get guys motivated and those guys are going to be motivated is unequivocally is not going to happen. You have resilient kids, I think, as adults, as coaches. I think we forget the resiliency in these kids. All these kids that play here, all have experienced loss, all have experienced getting their asses kicked. And you know what? They bounce back. And to get to this level and to be a performer and to be a guy on defense that's going to contribute, they've all been punched and we expect them to get back up. They expect to get back up. And I expect to have a hell of a performance on Saturday afternoon.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Steve Croner, as a Chronicle.
Yeah, good morning, Peter. I'm going to let you play Proud Papa for a moment. There's talk. There's the BGH line, big game hero, for guys who have outstanding performances in the big game. I could name a number of them. Kevin Moan, Kevin Brown come to mind. You know where I'm going. For 2 years since Jackson recovered the fumble that gave Cal the go-ahead touchdown in the big game, how has his life, from your perspective, changed, if at all, because he's now one of the BGHs?
Well, Steve, I think that's something I probably need to ask Jack more often about. When I do visit with Jack on the phone, I'm asking him a question: what's going on in your day? What happened at work today? What's the team looking like? But I expect him. I think he's going to be home this weekend because they're on a bye. I think you'll see a couple Bears on the sidelines. But that would be a great question for me to ask him this weekend because I have not done a good enough job of having the BGH question and how it's changed his life. I know that, when you see those highlights and it's him picking the ball up, and it was just a crazy play from, I think 2 people fumbled. I think Stanford fumbled it, we fumbled it, and then the kick up to catch it and run it in, I think is, you see it on the reader board, you'll see it on the video board this weekend. And I think that it can take you all the way back. And I think those big game hero players, I hope they enjoy it, and I hope they carry that all the way through whatever career they have. And every time they reminisce about Cal football in their career, they smile and are thankful for those opportunities.
Outcome this weekend.
Matt Rhino, Rivals.
Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Maybe on that note, rivalry games can kind of bring some unexpected things. I mean, what are the conversations like, with the team this week about just being on alert of like, hey, anything can happen in this kind of game?
You're exactly right. And, you could have said it right there. I mean, anything can happen. We're 11 weeks in. Everybody kind of has a pretty good idea of what they are, but we know emotions are crazy to harness sometimes. Momentum can be sometimes an unmovable force. And so we have to be able to live, in between those momentums and the emotions to be able to focus on the execution. The guys are super excited about the opportunity. I mean, we have a lot of players that have been instrumental to this program, that this will be the last time that they get to suit up and play in this stadium. So those guys, are reflecting on years of ups and downs, years of achievement, years of discouragement. So, those guys have to make sure that emotionally they're within their guardrails of going out there and be able to perform. All of us, sometimes you find yourself in an emotion that the concentration is lacking a little bit. And I think that's what this game can provide a lot of different players. So, you got to continue to know, hey man, what do I have to do to be able to focus, enjoy the pregame, enjoy the moments. But, when you're between the lines, it's the concentration and, shoot, you might get a double pass the first, series against us. There was a reverse, I believe, last or second play in the game last year. So everything's up. Both sides are going to do whatever it takes to win the game.
We'll go back to Jeff.
Peter, are you guys going to have a senior ceremony before the game on Saturday?
That's a great question. I am not sure. Yes, it sounds like we are. I'm getting a nod from Kaylin, so I think we are, but I am not sure of where that's going to be at in terms of where the clock's at and kind of what we've done. But I would expect to be some recognition, yeah.
So you don't know then necessarily who's on the list, because it's always kind of a fluid thing depending on what guys decide to do, stay or go or whatever.
That always, Jeff, I agree. That's always been a little bit of a fluid situation because eligibility, but you maybe have graduated from Cal. So I think there's some extenuating circumstances, and I think Justin and Andrew kind of handle those types of things. But anybody that wants to be recognized that is capable or is offered up that opportunity, I think it's a great gesture for their families to be down there to get some wonderful photographs. And really celebrate the people that have put a lot of their time and effort and their heart into this program.